Hi guys, today we're going to go over my June TBR. Sorry I've been a little MIA this last month. May was a lot for me. There's been some crazy life stuff happening. My boyfriend and I recently found out we have to move soon, and that's been taking up a lot of sort of my excess brain power, and I've just kind of been in a funk. I also traveled and went to go see Paramore this last weekend, and no reading got done for like 3 or 4 days straight. So you'll notice on this TBR there's some rollover from last month because I just was not able to get to some of those books. And they're books that I really do want to read. So I wasn't able to roll over everything that I haven't read, but I'm going to try to make time for these. I'm about 2/3 of the way through Dreams of Gods and Monsters right now by Laini Taylor. I'm hoping to actually finish this today after I finish filming. We shall see, but this is the third and final book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, and I've been absolutely loving this series so far. Each one is super fast, super jam-packed. There's a lot going on. There's like angels and like demons, and they're at war, and it kind of spills over to the human world, and it's all really fascinating. There's also some very intriguing romance, and I just love this series. I love Laini Taylor's writing, and she has not let me down yet, so I'm like approaching sort of the final climax of the whole series, and I'm so excited to see how it wraps up. Another rollover from last month is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is like a vampire high fantasy romance, and I've heard good things. It is very hyped, so I'm not kind of sure where I'm gonna land on it, but I think right now my brain needs some just like fluffy, maybe a little angsty fantasy romance. They tend to be very fast reads for me, and I want this one to be just fun. And I think there's trials and stuff, and that's always a good element for me. I really hope this lives up to the hype. It is a little chunky, but I feel like if it's nice and fast-paced and romance forward, it'll be a fast and fun read for me. And then Lessons in Chemistry. This is a standalone historical fiction that is supposed to be like very feminist and follows a woman from I think like the 50s or 60s who starts this show, this like cooking show, but that is also has a lot of like feminist undertones and stuff for the housewives watching at home. So they're making this into a, I believe, TV show starring Brie Larson. So I would love to watch that at some point. I'm not exactly sure when that comes out, but I want to have read the book first. So I want to just knock this one off my list finally. And the final rollover from last month is actually an arc for Shanghai Immortal, which actually comes out today, so I am behind on it, but oh well. I'm not exactly sure what this one is about. I know it's like a historical fantasy. I believe it takes place in Shanghai. We follow a half vampire, half fox demon, I think, and the main character seems kind of quirky and snarky. I'm not sure how I'll receive that. It depends on how it's done, but it's also an upcoming fairy loot book, so I want to read the arc as well and wrap that up. I was doing really well on keeping up with my arcs, and then again, I just did not have the brain bandwidth to handle another fantasy on my plate this last month. So this one got pushed back a bit, but I am hoping to prioritize that this month. Another arc I have to read, this one's new for this month, is The Curse of Saints. This is a fairy loot pick. I don't remember for which month. I think it was actually May. It was their May adult pick. I haven't gotten that one in the mail yet. In the US, though, it comes out in July, so I'm hoping to read that arc and have that review up before its publication date. So this one follows a character named Aya, who is the spy master to the queen, and she has to protect those she fights alongside, including the queen's enforcer, Will, who is Aya's bitter rival. I don't know why they're rivals. So the description is a little vague, but hopefully I'll like it, and I'm getting it in the mail sometime here soon, so would definitely like to love it, because I feel like Fairy Loot, especially their adult picks, are a little hit or miss lately, but oh well. Okay, moving on to the new stuff for June TBR that is not an arc. We have the next book in the Murderbot series, Rogue Protocol. I don't know what this one specifically is about, but I've been reading this series kind of one a month for the past few months, and I've been really enjoying it. It's a very fun sci-fi adventure story with a very quirky protagonist. Murderbot is a security unit who's sort of hacked their own system and has given themselves free will and kind of following along on their adventure and you exploring some events from their past and kind of trying to figure out like what triggered that and why was Murderbot able to hack his own system, and the humans he has to save along the way is always fun to follow. So again, I don't really know what exactly this one is about, but I love this character and I would read them watching paint dry, so adding this to the list for this month. Then we have Seven Faceless Saints by M.K. Lobb. This is a fairy loot book. I think this was a YA pick. I'm trying to keep up more with the fairy loot books. I have a checklist now and everything, so this one seems really short and like a fast read. It's also like such a cute little dainty size. Like, this is a shorter US hardback and this is still a little bit smaller than that. So I just think this is so adorable. Okay, and this one is like a childhood friends to current enemies to eventual lovers story. I think the guy got called to war and left the girl behind. I don't really know. Seems like there's also a serial killer or something in the city. So it seems to have some political stuff happening as well as like a murder mystery element and some romance. So looks like there's a lot going on in this little book and I'm excited to read it. I haven't heard a whole lot of reviews about it, so I'm very curious to see how I enjoy it. So yeah, I'm hoping this is kind of a fun and fast read because I think that's what I need right now, where I don't have a lot of excess big brain energy and I'm going for short, fast, fun reads. June is also Pride Month, so I thought that was a good excuse to finally pick up Last Night at the Telegraph Club. This is a sapphic historical YA fiction, and I think it follows like a lesbian bar in the 50s. Yeah, so it's called the Telegraph Club. And it's exploring like why obviously America in the 50s was not a great place for queer people, and there's also the Red Scare paranoia and seems like some deportation drama looming over one of the characters. So there's a lot of heaviness in this one, and I know I just said that I was looking for fun fast reads, but where this is YA, I think it'll still be a faster read. But I'm really intrigued by the subject matter and the time period, and I've only heard really good things about this, so I'm excited to finally get to it. I also have Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This is like a gay space romance. I think we have like a arranged marriage situation, but then they actually fall in love, and I don't know what the plot is beyond their relationship or if there really is one. Seems like there's a conspiracy unfolding around them. But yeah, I've been really enjoying sci-fi this year, and I'm kind of curious to pick up more like romance-leaning sci-fis. This one I've heard pretty good things about. I know it's got a sequel, but I don't know how connected it is. I don't know if it just takes place in the same universe or if it even follows the same couple or what, but I have heard good things about this one in particular, so excited to get to this one. I've had this book for like a year and a half or 2 years now, but 70s in June by Tia Williams. It's June. I'm gonna read this book, dang it. This is a romance, but I think it's kind of like a heavier romance. It deals with some like deeper topics than, you know, a rom-com would. I've heard excellent reviews for this, so I hope I love it. I think the last time I talked about this on my channel, I like totally flubbed the description of it, but I know this does follow a couple that connected in the past, and I think it's like a second chance romance. And I believe the couples are both, or the two are both writers, and they've like dedicated books and stuff to each other, and their relationship has really impacted their writing over the years. So I think that sounds so romantic, and I'm not sure if this is gonna make me cry or what, but I just need to get to this. I've been saving it for a June for the past couple years, and it feels silly that I haven't read it yet. And then I think this is the newest release on this list, but I've got Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. This came out just last month, just a couple weeks ago, and my friends have been reading it and loving it, and I need to get to it. This is R.F. Kuang's first, like, not fantasy book, and where I've liked the Poppy War. I haven't read Babel yet, but I do plan on reading that this year. I'm really excited to see what a contemporary fiction looks like from her. This one follows kind of like frenemy writers. One of them is Asian and one of them is white. And the Asian one, I think, dies in like an accident or something. And the white one steals her friend's finished masterpiece that is very much about like Asian history and culture, I believe in the United States, or actually Chinese laborers during World War I. And she kind of puts it under an ethnically ambiguous pseudonym and publishes it as her own, and there's just a lot to explore with that subject, so I'm very excited to read this. I've seen rave reviews about it. The protagonist seems absolutely unhinged, and that's always fun to read about, so I'm sure this will also make me angry, but it seems like the kind of thing that's supposed to, so I'm excited to finally read it, and maybe this will give me some more momentum to finally pick up Babel as well. And yeah, that wraps up my hopeful June TBR. It is still a little ambitious considering where my brain space is at the moment, but they're all books I'm really excited to read. A lot of these are ones that I anticipate being able to read very quickly. So while it does seem like a lot, I think it's a little bit more doable than last month's TBR. But I feel like I say that every month, so who knows? Thank you guys so much for watching. Please feel free, as always, to check out the links in my description box below, like this video, comment if you're feeling chatty. I would love to talk about some of these books with you guys, just no spoilers. And as always, have a lovely day.